And we should be live. How's it going, Lloyd?
It is going fantastic on this wonderful Stadia Super Saturday, but also Sunday.
That's right. I think that I don't know the name. It's grown beyond the Saturday, but we don't
hmm
because of Stadia Super Saturday, and we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes on the show. We can't have like a pre-show because we are going to be sending everybody over to Andy Morphs when we're done. Your camera just got real
Yeah,
dark.
I'm adjusting because
Oh,
I got a bright spot and I'm trying to get that sorted out. I didn't notice it when it
okay.
was in a small window.
I didn't see it either. All right, so I'm gonna hit record and we can get started. All right.
Okay, there we go. Does that look better for you?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, awesome.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Stadiacast. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, Bill. Excited for the show this week. It's Stadia's 1 year old, man.
I know. It seems like just yesterday we were on our way to the hospital. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Sounds of Stadia. They were just doing a live stream of the new Tom Clancy game. Is it Wildlands, right?
hmm
Yeah, Wildlands. They were just doing a live stream of Tom Clancy's Wildlands. If you haven't seen their stream, click on the link down below and you can check them out. This is part of Stadia Super Saturday, which is this bunch of Stadia focused content creators. We're all getting together and doing a stream. It's called Stadia Super Saturday because it started yesterday and
That's right.
it's still going. So if you're one of those crazy people who has been watching all of it, go get some sleep, but not yet. Wait until after our show. Anyway, before we get started, we do record this show live Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StadiaCast. If you want to support the show and you're here with us live, you can use that super chat feature to make sure that we see your messages. If you are watching this afterwards, then you can use the join button to support the show, and you can also use the applaud button to support the show. All of those ways help us continue to make content like this for you. Before we get started, Lloyd, you had something that you wanted to do a giveaway for. I don't know when we're doing it, if that's at the end or you're just announcing it now. What's up?
Yeah, so we have a code, courtesy of the fine folks of Stadia Super Saturday. We're going to be giving away a copy of Super Bomberman R Online, or Espero, as Bill likes to say. So I'm gonna paste the code in the chat now, but I'm gonna give you the secret to unlocking the code randomly between now and an hour from now, because we got to keep you people watching the whole time and passing you over to Anymorph. So there's the code with two question marks. Those question marks represent something, and I'll give you that hint a little bit later in the show.
All right. And I'm looking at the code right now. Those two question marks, like it got pushed to the next line. So like that's all one line, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, Lloyd. Of course, it's Stadia Super Saturday. A lot of people have been watching a lot of cool stuff. But
Mm.
what have you been playing this week?
Lots, actually. At first I was playing the waiting for Chrome to load game, because Stadia pushed out a messaging update, so we can actually message from the browser, which is fantastic. It works wonderfully. I love the interface. I love the interface now that Chrome is usable. So if you had a large friends list like I do, you weren't able to use Chrome. Chrome was basically dead to you. I got a message on Discord and then on Stadia, actually, from a friend that said, "Hey, a code push just happened that fixed this bug." Went in and checked it out, and Stadia is back to being buttery smooth on the Chrome browser, which is fantastic. So besides that, the only games that I've been playing on Stadia have been Assassin's Creed Valhalla, still making my way through that and loving every darn minute of that game. And then also just a little bit of Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle, since that is out on Stadia as well and is also fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, they did things in Mega and Pac-Man a little bit differently than they did during the demo. In the demo, they only had elimination mode, and so when you were waiting for your cue, you were just kind of looking at like maybe customizing your character or whatever. what they've done now, and I've played a lot of Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle in the last week. What they've done now is you can queue up for your elimination game, but then while you're waiting for your queue, you can do like challenges like score 60,000 points or eat 300 ghosts or invade, I don't know, X number of screens, and you can work on getting those challenges done while you're waiting for your elimination match to queue up. But I've been having so much fun with that game. It is really, really addictive, and it's got that thing that's all right. I can do one more. I can do one more.
I'm only 10 coins away from the big fluffy hair wig. I gotta play another game. I gotta get that big fluffy hair wig.
Yeah. But I've been having an absolute blast with it. It's a really, really good game. I would say that I like it more than Bomberman, but I feel like that's because I have so much more experience playing Pac-Man than I do playing Bomberman, and so I'm a whole lot better at it. I've already won, like I won my second game when the demo came out, and then since I've been playing it this week, I've gotten a bunch of wins, and I don't know why, but people are saying that or OBS is saying that we are dropping 31% of frames. Awesome thing to happen when you are time limited. We're just going to keep going, though. I've also been playing a lot of Destiny 2, and I forgot how beautiful that game is. It's really, really good. Having an absolute blast with it, and it's so
you playing
pretty.
Did you buy the new expansion, or you're just back into the original content?
So I'm just back into the original content. I haven't decided if I'm going to pick up Beyond Light or not. Like it's I don't want to say it's too expensive, because I don't think it is, but I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've got Pac-Man. Star Wars is coming this week. I just picked up Hyrule Warriors on my Switch. There's too many things for me to play, and it like all of it's coming at once, and it's a little like frustrating because like I do a Nintendo show and I haven't played anything on my Switch forever. And now this comes at the same time that all these other Stadia games are coming, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my time. Like I don't have enough time to play the games, but you know, there's no games on Stadia. Go ahead, Lloyd.
I feel the exact same way. I was playing Watch Dogs Legion, and then Valhalla came out. It's like, oh, okay, well that's shiny. I got to go over to the new shiny thing. Okay, I'll get back to this, and then I'm playing this, and then I get an update for a game on my Xbox. It's like, oh, okay, well I got to put that away. I got to go do something on Xbox, and then come back, and I'm like, okay, I'm playing Valhalla, and then Hyrule Warriors comes out just like you said, and it's like, well, I love Breath of the Wild, one of my favorite games of all time. I got to play this story, so I played some of that. So yeah, it's been a really busy fall into winter for gaming. So yeah, between Stadia, where I'm playing most stuff, and other consoles that I'm trying to be fair with my time, it's been a pretty crazy couple weeks.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, we've got these upcoming games of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Over. Star Wars coming on November 24th, and then for some reason I thought that this was next year, but I was looking at upcoming games on the official subreddit, and it listed Chronos Before the Ashes on December 21st or December 1st. Is that accurate?
I guess so.
That's
or
what
maybe
the YouTube video said, December 1st at the end. Like I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that was coming this soon. I don't have time.
It is a Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, so it totally makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's going to be hard for us to keep track of all the releases coming, because there's going to be so many. Not a problem that we've had in the past, but I'm happy to have that problem now.
And then speaking of new releases, Ghost Recon Wildlands just came out on Google Stadia as well. And I just had it on my screen, and then I accidentally closed it because I had messed up. But I think that game is also on sale, and I can't get it to open back up. My computer is having all kinds of issues. $26 for the, oh my God. So that's the Ultimate Edition, which is normally $90. You can get that for $27 for Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, I'm not going to get that because I don't like those games, But if you're a fan of those Tom Clancy games, then that's a really good deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's new to Stadia, but it's an older game, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun going back and playing this older Ghost Clancy game, because a lot of people basically said this was the game. I had some friends local that for years this is all they played. That they got together Friday nights, Saturday nights, whatever, and they just played Ghost Recon. So it's kind of cool that it's out here on Stadia as well, just to join Far Cry and Far Cry New Dawn and all the other drops of Ubisoft games that we got. It's a fantastic thing.
So speaking of really good deals, that's one of the big pieces of news this week is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh gosh,
This is what a fantastic deal that this is.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times. Well, okay. So in the past, like a long time ago, it feels like you would go and you would buy a video game console and you would get a free game with it.
Yep.
And now you are buying a game and getting a free console with it. Of course, Stadia is a free console anyway, but this is even more so because now if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 before December 18th, you get a Stadia Premier Edition for free. That includes the clearly white controller and the Chromecast Ultra, so that you can hook that up to your TV and play Cyberpunk 2077 on your TV. What are your thoughts on this, Lloyd?
It's literally insane to have the to have marketing come out and say, hey, buy this game and we will send you a free console bundle so you can play on your TV. It's kind of undone or kind of not done, or it's never been done. Words are hard today for some strange reason. We were talking about on Cloudburst yesterday, and just kind of going over how just insanely crazy the deal is. And then I can't remember who mentioned, I think it might have been Clive, saying, well, Stadia doesn't have marketing rights for Cyberpunk 2077, so you can't have all of the ads on TV and everything with the Stadia logo, but you can make a big splash by saying, come buy the $60 game and we'll send you a $100 bundle of a controller and a Chromecast to put it up on your TV. So this is going to be huge. Like, I hope this brings tens of thousands of players to Stadia, with this game being the first game that they experience on the service, and just makes people love Stadia, because this is just a ridiculously awesome deal.
It absolutely is, and I'm not somebody who tends to pre-order games, especially since, for the most part, well, I tend not to pre-order games because I like to wait and see. I take that wait and see approach. And with Stadia, my pre-ordering has been happening even less because I don't have to download it ahead of time. So what I will say is that this got me to pre-order the game. So I went out and I pre-ordered 2077. So like I told my wife about it, and she was like, that's a crazy good deal. So I ended up picking it up anyway. All right, moving on. Speaking of good deals, Avengers is, I guess it's going to be on sale on Tuesday. You've played a whole bunch of Avengers. You want to tell people about that while I go kick everybody off the internet?
Yeah, Avengers is a fantastic story-based hero brawler, which is one of my favorite games that I played over the last little bit. And it's gotten a bunch of updates, but then the planned DLC rollout for October and November was put on hold because of COVID. So what is basically happening here is they're announcing some huge patches. We're getting our first free DLC character. It's going to be kind of two characters. You get Kate Bishop, which is kind of the new Hawkeye, and then you're going to get the other Hawkeye, which is Hawkeye, which will be coming in the future. And to celebrate that, they're having a huge Black Friday sale where you can get Avengers for $50 or 50% off on every platform, including Stadia, and it'll be coming to Stadia very. The sale will be starting on Tuesday, so you'll be able to pick up Avengers for half price, just in time for the new DLC, free DLC character, and you could play the game, which has gotten better by leaps and bounds from launch, but it still needs some players in the game because it is quite a ghost land, unfortunately.
It's not really a game you want to play solo, though.
I pretty much soloed the whole entire game.
Oh, okay.
I played through the whole story mode, streamed it, and did it all solo, and then I've played just a handful of multiplayer stuff. But yeah, it's a perfect game for solo as well.
All right, cool. So let's talk about the news. There's some big news this week. First off, iOS. You know, this is something that I think you and I are both excited for. We're both iOS guys. I'm not going to be playing on my phone, but I'm going to play it a bunch on my iPad. And I know that I've currently been able to play it on my iPad using like third-party workarounds, but I don't really like doing that. I like to use official stuff whenever I can. And so they announced in like the most mild and quietest way possible, like just a post on the Reddit or on the subreddit. They said public iOS testing. A few weeks from now, we'll be launching the first phase of iOS support. I just lost my place. In other words, you will be able to play Stadia games on your iOS devices for the first time. As we test performance and add more features, your feedback will help us improve the Stadia experience for everyone. What are your initial thoughts here, Lloyd?
Well, I ordered one of these. This is the power support claw that Stadia sells for their controllers. And I was like, I have no reason to buy this, but it came back up on their website. And it's like, if I want to get one, I might as well buy one. So it came in and I have it on my controller now and it's all ready. I have it on my Wasabi, and I think I might actually keep it on my Wasabi controller so I don't end up scratching it by taking it on and off. And then literally a day later, they announce, hey, it's going to be coming to iOS right away. And I'm like, this is going to be the perfect way to play it. I'll put my phone in my claw and I will have a portable Stadia on the go wherever I am. So I'm really excited about iOS support. We know that it's going to be in beta kind of or testing mode initially. So once the testing is done, I'm sure iOS will be a really, really great platform to play Stadia on, and I can't wait to use this rig to do it.
Yeah, I have not yet picked up the Claw. I don't plan on playing on my phone very often. I tend to think that most developers don't take into account the size of the screen that you're looking at, and so sometimes you just can't read stuff. But for a game like Pac-Man, I think that would be perfect for playing on your phone, and I think that most of the time I'll be sticking to the iPad. But look, there is a large segment of the population that use iOS, and because they use iOS, they've kind of been locked out of Google Stadia to play it, play it in all the places, that you have, or however it is that they phrased it. So I think that this is an absolute huge deal for a lot of people. It's kind of been a deal breaker for a lot of people that you can't play it on iOS. Not me, but a lot of people.
And it's another butt of a joke that can basically disappear now because it's going to be on iOS. It's like you can play on all your screens, but they can't play on my iPad and iPhone. Is kind of like the memes that are everywhere. Well, that's going to go away, and that's another pain point that people are using to make fun of Stadia, which will just disappear, which is fantastic.
Then we have the first official free game on Google Stadia.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the reason that I got back into it. I was just curious as to what the experience was like now versus before, because I had not played it in ages. I was talking to people in our community Discord, link in the description down below, and they were saying that all of the, like, when Stadia first launched, Destiny on controller on Chromecast was solid. It was really, really good. Playing it in a browser with mouse and keyboard was kind of not awesome. It was not a good look. Basically,
Right.
there was a lot more latency that way, and I was
Yep.
like, people were saying all of that is gone. It's all fixed. It's solid now. It almost feels like, and we talked about this yesterday on Cloudburst, that the whole thing should have been labeled beta for that first year.
Yep.
And you and I have been saying that since forever, that it should have
Yep.
been labeled beta for that first year. But
Exactly.
yeah, but I've been like, it's really great. It's super responsive. I'm not feeling any latency. It feels, in my opinion, it feels just as good as Division 2, which I have been saying for a very long time was the best port on Stadia. So I think that this is awesome. But what's
Yeah.
more important is that this is a game that is free for everybody. Now, I know that there's going
Yeah.
to be people who say, hey, everybody, this game has been free forever on Xbox and PlayStation or whatever. And yes, that is absolutely true. But in order to play on those things, you have to have those things. This is
Yep.
a free console. You can
That's
just
right.
load it up, play Destiny 2 with nothing other than a Gmail account and a screen, and it's going to
Yep.
work just fine.
It's kind of crazy. We talked about free games, and we've kind over the year of Stadia, both Bill and I have kind of attacked it from different angles. It's like, no way are they going to ever do free games because Google's going to run out of servers. This doesn't make sense. Why would they do it? This is no benefit to them. And then it's like, well, maybe they'll do it, but they'll require a small in-app purchase or being pro, blah blah blah. Well, it just turns out that that's not the case. They're fully fine with putting free games on Stadia that you can sign up. What's his name from Verge? I'm blanking on his name right now.
I don't know his name, but I know what you're talking about. The one that everybody got mad at because he was made a low-hanging fruit joke about Friends.
Exactly. So he made Stadia jokes for the entire year, and now maybe he's not doing that anymore, because he posted a tweet saying, "I created an account. Within minutes, I was playing a game with no credit card, no purchases, no nothing. The promises of Stadia are finally starting to come true." So, Tom Warren, there you go. Thanks, Original Penguin. So people are seeing this, and Destiny is a huge game, maybe not the hugest game for like the Twitch crowd and stuff like that, but if Stadia gets a Fortnite, an Apex Legends, a Call of Duty Warzone, and these are free games and able to get in there and play without a credit card, without paying anything, I think this is going to be incredibly huge for Stadia. So hopefully we'll get more free games in the future, but this is a fantastic start.
Just so you're aware, I saw on Twitter yesterday that Destiny was the number 2 game on Twitch yesterday.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
That's because they have this is the perfect time for those guys for Destiny to go free to play on Stadia because of a couple of reasons. Number one, the new expansion just came out. Now you have to buy the new expansion, which is perfectly reasonable, but that new expansion means that there's a lot of people paying attention to Destiny because there's new raids and all of this stuff. And so a lot of people were watching Destiny 2 content yesterday. Now, most of the people who are probably watching on Twitch were probably watching people who've been playing the game for a long time, who probably aren't going to be jumping in on Google Stadia because they already have the devices to play those things on. But if you are somebody who owns, let's say, a Nintendo Switch or a crappy Chromebook, and you're like, you go to Twitch and you're watching people play this game, and then you find out that you can play this game on that device, not your Nintendo Switch, obviously, but
Yeah.
you previously did not have a device that could run this game, and then you can download Destiny 2 or buy Destiny. It's not even download. It's not buy. You can just sign up and play Destiny 2 without doing anything else. That is very compelling, and it's going to bring a lot of people to not only this platform, but Destiny 2 in in that never were able to play before. And I think that that's one of the things that many publishers and developers saw, and they understood this before anybody else did, that this is going to sell so many games because it
Yeah.
lowers the requirement. If you have to be 6 feet tall in order to buy this thing from me, then I'm going to sell a whole lot less things. If I can lower the bar and say, hey, guess what? Anybody from any height can buy this thing. And
Yeah.
like, don't get mad at me about. I'm not making a height joke. I'm short. Okay. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I think that that's really, really good.
It's incredibly easy to play or to buy a game on Stadia, and I think that's going to be where Stadia goes. Like, I could see a future where games are priced at Steam level, maybe, because they're getting so many sales on Stadia, and there's no downloads, there's no friction. So a new game comes out, you watch a video, and it's like, okay, I could be playing it in 30 seconds, just by buying it on Stadia. I truly think that will be a future that we're going to have at some point down the line, where a lot of people are choosing Stadia first just because of the ease, the fact that you could be watching a video and playing the game 30 seconds later.
Yeah, and I never thought that they would offer free to play. I never thought
No.
that they would, because you have to have some way to monetize. When you talk about a free to play population, a vast majority of the people who take advantage of free to play are just that. They're free to
Yep.
play. They don't spend any money at all. And that
Yep.
game is usually supported by the people which the gaming industry refers to as whales, because they spend stupid amounts of money on the game.
Yep.
Like ridiculous, crazy amounts of money. And we're talking like hundreds of dollars a day in some cases. And while that's awesome for the publisher, and sure, I'm sure that if you buy some of that stuff through Stadia, Google gets a cut. I can foresee Google being, well, I don't know how many people, because everybody is using their servers, like, where's the cost to income ratio where it actually makes a benefit. So I was always worried that we would never get free to play games, or maybe free to play games would be limited to pro, and they didn't do that, and that's really good.
Yeah, the interesting thing is there's probably going to be enough people playing pro or paying for pro, enough people buying games that they want at full price to support this free to play stuff. Server time isn't as expensive as it used to be, so and bandwidth can be almost free depending on which provider you use because of peering agreements and stuff like that. So this may not cost Stadia or Google as much as we initially were anticipating it would. The thing is, Stadia can have enough blades in all parts of the world. Like, if you're in California, can you just start Destiny at any time and hit an edge node that's right next to you? Or do you have to be someone that lives maybe in like kind of the middle of the US or middle of Canada to always have available blades? It'll be really, really interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. Although, have you ever been told we don't have a blade for you?
No, I remember seeing it on Reddit. One person posted it like forever ago that they got a waiting message and then it went away right away. So it's probably just like an issue with the Stadia service itself, not so much that there weren't enough blades to go around. Yeah.
In addition to on that news post,
Wait,
go ahead.
Can we jump in? We were talking about free games. This would be a perfect time for us to give away a free copy of Super Bomberman R Online. So if you're watching in chat,
segue.
If you're watching in chat right now, I'm pasting a code in with 2 question marks. That isn't the code. But if you want to figure out the clue to replace the question marks with the actual part of the code, I'm going to paste the clue in right now. It is replace the 2 question marks with the opposite of FM. So good luck to everybody out there. If you've claimed your copy of Super Bomberman R Online on Stadia, let us know in the chat room so we can cheers you on the show.
That's right. And that game is really, really fun. It's a very, very fun battle royale based on Bomberman. All right, back to the news. In the same post with all of this stuff, they did say that there's an update on State Share. For those of you who don't know what State Share is, basically the way that State Share can work is you can be playing a game and, like, let's say that Lloyd could be playing Doom Eternal, and he could get me completely surrounded by or get completely surrounded by demons, and just stay alive long enough to only have like one bullet left or something, and then create a state share and share that with people and say, can you survive, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's what state share is. Now, we've had a beta of state share through Crata, which is that game where you create making a game. I used it in order to get everybody to join me in my world so we could all like build a house together on one of our live streams. And that's really the only thing that we've seen with it so far. This is something that was announced all the way back at GDC when they first announced what Stadia was. So they said that we have an update on State Share. The first full implementation of State Share will launch with Hitman 3 next year. What's your thoughts on this?
I think this is going to be awesome. Just for what you said, like paint yourself into the worst corner you've ever painted yourself in a video game, and then hit state share and say, hey, people, you think you're good? Try to get out of this mess, which is fantastic. Neil in the chat room got the code. Congrats, Neil. Enjoy the game. Let us know how you like it.
Enjoy, man. All right, so I'm cautiously optimistic for how state share can be. I hope that state share can be really, really cool for marketing a game. Like a game company could make a video of their game and then create a state share link, which is a click to play. And then when people like, you can have it start right at the end of that video. So then, like, you're watching a YouTube video, and then they say, and by the way, you can pick up right where we left off, right down below. You click the button, takes you to the buy page. You click buy, and it jumps you right into the game. That would be incredibly cool. I can see content creators doing really cool stuff with this. I think State Share is very exciting for those people. I don't know how exciting of a feature it is for just the regular average user. Like, do you see like one of your kids doing a state share and sending it to their friends, or like is that just a
No.
feature that you don't think they'll use?
I see them watching their favorite streamer, and their streamer says, okay, I just did this crazy thing. I had 1 hit point when I got to this boss. I beat the boss on 1 hit point. Can you do as good as I did, and jump right in and play that game that way? I could definitely see that happening. Hitman 3 is a perfect game to kind of roll out state share with. I've talked about Hitman a couple times on the show. I hate the fact that it takes me 45 minutes to set up this Rube Goldberg machine of murder, and then I accidentally bump into a guard and they see me, and it's like, okay, 45 minutes wasted. Maybe state share will allow me to cheese that a little bit. I can make a state share for myself, and then if I screw up, I can just go back to that state share. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of the different features that developers kind of bake into their games with state share in mind. I'm really, really excited to see kind of where the future brings us with that feature.
And then what is probably the one that I'm least excited about, because it doesn't affect me at all, but it was probably the most important announcement in this list of low-key announcements, is that they are expanding their list of supported countries in Europe by the end of the year. By the end of the year is not very long from now, and this does not affect me even a little, so I really don't care. But for all of the people who are currently living in some country that is not supported by Stadia, I wish that they would list them off, but whatever, that's fine, I guess. This is probably the most important announcement out of all of them, because that means a whole lot more potential customers for Stadia. What do you think about this, Lloyd?
Yeah, one of the biggest. Well, we've been doing the show for a year. The first, not complaints, but common questions were, when can I do family share? Like, when's family sharing coming? They said family sharing. Is family sharing here? Well, we have family sharing now. And then after family share was kind of done, and we're like, hey, no one's going to be asking about that anymore. It's like, when can I play it in my country? It's like, there's the next one. So this will help with a lot of that. There's a lot of people that are really eager to jump in and play Stadia, but can't without setting up some weird VPN, which probably won't work at the end of the day. Now, hopefully, a lot more people in Europe will be able to jump in and play Stadia without going through too many hoops.
And Ruben in chat is saying, "Hey, Bill, this is going to increase the number of people that you can play with." That's absolutely true. This will also, I bet you, like when, who's the guy in charge of Epic Games?
Sweeney.
Yes, Tom Sweeney, Todd Sweeney.
Todd, I can't remember.
Mr. Sweeney.
Tim Sweeney.
Okay, yeah. So when Tim Sweeney said, "Look, we'll bring Fortnite to any platform where there's a big enough audience for it," and a lot of people took that to mean Stadia doesn't have a big enough audience because nobody's playing Stadia. But maybe what he meant was Stadia doesn't have a big enough audience because there's not enough countries that have access to it yet. So as more countries come on board, it becomes an even more palatable. I don't think that's the right word. I would say a more tempting proposition for a publisher to bring their game to Google Stadia, because if you're leaving out a whole bunch of countries, then that's going to make it really hard for some publishers to bring their games. So I fully expect that as the list of countries that Stadia is available on grows, that's going to be also have a secondary effect, or maybe even a tertiary effect, of bringing in more people. And bringing in more games, and then the tertiary effect is bringing in even more people, as it just keeps, it's kind of like this circular self-fulfilling prophecy, chicken and egg kind of scenario.
Yeah, exactly. The what is it? The player console thing. No, that's not it. What comes first, the player or the console? No, that doesn't make sense, because obviously the console, except Stadia, you don't have a console. It's just in the cloud.
Yeah, but it's still a console. I stand by that.
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
There was a lot of people who sent this interview to me with Mr. Busser, or Busser. I don't know how to pronounce it, from Mobile Syrup. And basically, he is the director of games at Google Stadia. And there's a couple of quotes in here that I thought were really interesting, and I wanted to give us a chance to talk about. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the time, because we still have to thank all of the people who've super chatted during the show and respond to what they want us to talk about. So quote number 1 says that 2 years from now, you're going to see a particular aspect of our vision become increasingly more true, and that's going to be our internal Stadia games and entertainment studios that are really going to push the boundaries of what kinds of gameplay experiences can be developed now that you have a platform that is entirely in the cloud. How can we push the boundaries of an interactive entertainment and video games now that we are free from the limitations of a network appliance in your living room, like a PC or a game console? Now you're building a game for a platform that is entirely in a massively powerful data center, and they spelled data center wrong, but I'm sure you're okay with it, and a platform
They spelled it right,
that is deeply integrated with YouTube. What does that mean? It really will allow us to achieve what we like to call cloud native games. These are games that are being built for the cloud first, foremost, and always, and are able, therefore, to do things that no PC or game console could ever do, no matter how powerful. That is coming. Lloyd, this right here is what I saw at GDC and what I'm sure that you saw at GDC when they announced Google Stadia for the first time, all I could think of was the cloud native experiences. The other stuff is all gravy. The cloud native experience, in my opinion, is what is going to make or break Google Stadia. And I think I am very bullish on this. It is going to make Google Stadia. It's going to put its stamp on what you can do with video games. And that's why I think Stadia is more interesting to me than Shadow, more interesting to me than GeForce Now, more interesting to me than xCloud or whatever they decided to call it, because all of those are just giving you a way to stream games that you can do elsewhere. Only Stadia is cloud native right now. What are your thoughts on this, Lloyd?
Yeah, we've said it a lot in the past. Stadia is the only cloud gaming platform out there. Everything else that exists out there is a way of streaming games that exist on another platform. So xCloud is playing on Xboxes and streaming it to you. GeForce Now, Luna, they're all running essentially Windows binaries and on a Windows server and streaming them to you. Stadia is from top to bottom its own thing. And once we start getting games that completely leverage that, it's going to be huge. Between what Jack is talking about, Jade Raymond had an interview this past week as well, talking about the cloud future where you jump into a game like GTA and every single person in the world is a real person going about their own life, doing things. They're a baker in this game. They're going to do bakery things. They're a traffic cop. They're going to do traffic cop stuff. And that is really the future that I've wanted for the longest time. I used to play a game called Ultima Online, and that was always my, like, in Ultima Online, all the villagers had their own little time things. So they'd be over here at 8 a.m. They'd be eating in the inn at 1 in the afternoon. Then they'd be over here in the bar till 11. Then they'd go sleep and stuff like that in all the Ultimas. But if you could have that type of scheduling in an online game where the people are either, or the characters in the game are either real people, or as soon as someone drops out, it has this really amazing AI that is fully running in the cloud as well. I think this is going to bring some really just crazy game experiences that we can't even sit here and really predict what it's going to be like, because it's going to be so different than something that we've ever played before. That is what I'm really looking forward to, the time when Jade Raymond's vision and all the other big thinkers at Google's vision comes to pass, and we can actually play a game like that where every single NPC is not an NPC. It's a person, but maybe sometimes a really good AI that is running off of some crazy supercomputer in the cloud.
And if you think of it that way, I think that there's a lot of people who don't have the distance sight to really believe that that's a possibility. And I can totally understand being skeptical about something. I think that that's totally fine. So for those people, you might think, all right, well, guess what? I don't believe that you're going to be able to make these cloud native games as I need to see it in order to believe it. I'm fine with that. But for those people, Busser or Buser, I don't know how to say it, he had another quote that I thought was very interesting. He said, he was asked about their roadmap, and he said, "What I can tell you is that we've built a roadmap of about 400 games in development right now from 200 developers. So when those games land, whether it's in the calendar year of 2021 or beyond, is something that you'll like to hear, that you'll hear more from us in the future. Will there be more developers and more games on the platform? Absolutely. But frankly speaking, my team is almost done with 2021. We're thinking about 2022, and that's our focus, 2023. It's really kind of where we're aiming our sights." So
yeah.
when I hear him say things like that, I think that is incredibly interesting to me. And the reason, well, first off, you might think, only 400 games, in which case I'm like, what is wrong with you? That's a lot of games. I can't play that many games. But I saw
Right.
some people tweet that only 400 games. Um,
Yeah.
the thing is that Stadia, it's not just simply, hey, you can put your game on our system and then it magically appears. There are people whose jobs that work at Stadia. It's people whose jobs are to work with the publishers to get their games on the platform. And there's only so
Yeah.
many of those people that can do it at once. You have to remember, this is Stadia's first year. And like Xbox and PlayStation, they have been doing this for decades. So I think that that's a really good quote, especially the fact that they've already kind of locked in what's happening in 2021. And now they're focusing on 2022 and 2023. And that this is the quote that I think I want to point everybody at when they say things like, well, Google kills things all the time. No, they're
Right.
not. They're not going to. That's a false argument. That's a paper tiger, and it doesn't really hold up. What's your thoughts on this quote, Lloyd?
100%. That's my favorite quote in this whole interview, because it shows that Google is doing what Google does. They slowly release something, they iterate on it. They use agile development to make changes they can turn on a dime to fix something if there's a weird bug or some unintended consequence. But they're also full of long-term plans. They're not just planning for next week. They're planning for next year and the year after. And that is a good thing. That's what we should expect Google to be doing. Like, it's an online service. They can slowly roll out features, but they should be planning what the big future of their service is going to be for a few years. So that filled me with a lot of excitement, and made me happy that they're doing that.
All right, so that's it for the news today. I was planning on talking about Stadia's first year. You and I having a conversation about that, but we only have about 13 minutes left. So we have some
Sure.
super chats to get to real quick. I'm going to read off some stuff here. We had a bunch of new members: Gaming Preferred, William Mellard, Ruben, Hungry, Moogle. They were all became members in the last 24 hours. Dave Winall sent in a super chat with no message. Thank you very much. Sammy on Stadia sent in a super chat. They said, why has no one sent a super chat yet? Happy Stadia Super Saturday. Thank you for the support, Sammy. Ruben said, support some of my favorite Stadia podcast creators. Let's hope you'll be able to join a lot of these Stadia Super Saturdays in the future. Thanks, Bill and Lloyd. Some contribution for Bill's camera track. You guys are crazy. Jem asked, how do I send a super chat? Consino says, first time caller. That's a lie. Love the show. Jay Dangle sent in a super chat. Sukotronic sent a super chat. And Stadia Pro Gaming sent in a super chat. So we had a whole bunch of super chats come in. Nobody with any questions. Lou Jan just sent in a super chat. They said Stadia has leveled up. Congrats. But that's okay. It's okay that we didn't get questions. Some people just like supporting the show, and we really do appreciate it. So thank you very much for that. I did ask a question. What unannounced features are you hoping for Google Stadia for year 2? And some people replied to that. So real quick, I thought that we would talk about this for the next 12 minutes or so. Anthony Talcott said text-to-speech integration. Also, what happened to the whiteboard? I kind of liked it when they gave us updates about that. So text-to-speech integration. So like it reading the text to me? Is that what you think he means?
Be able to have a chat message and just talk to your controller and have it done that way. That's what
that would be speech to text.
Yeah, I think that's what I took. I just thought maybe he phrased it a little bit differently.
Oh, okay. But how do you feel about text to speech? Do we already have that? Isn't there a screen reader in the maybe that's based on the game?
Yeah, I think there's some games that have it. I don't know if it's built right into Stadia itself. I don't believe so. I think it's based on the game.
Oh, okay. Daryl in chat says, I just noticed your mic looks like the Watch Dogs logo. It
It
does?
does. Because you got silver on your shock mount. It kind of looks
Oh,
like the Watch Dogs logo.
oh, okay. I have not played Watch Dogs, so I don't know. Anthony Telka also said live streaming games to YouTube. Also, give us basic editing tools for our screenshots and clips. Give us picture in picture. I want to be able to watch 143 pixels while trying to play 4K over Wi-Fi. 143 pixels is an audio show, so you can listen to it right now while you are playing a game in 4K over Wi-Fi. But I assume that you meant Stadiacast, in which case, yes, picture in picture would be absolutely cool. I would love to be able to watch a video in the corner of my gameplay, like, I don't know, the latest Spawn Wave video or whatever. Like, I would love to have like that in the corner while I'm playing some game. That would be really cool.
What I want is MM2K having just a loud screaming rant in a picture in picture in every video game I play. So MM2K, do you want to just record a bunch of that and I could just play it randomly? But it would be nice if that was baked into Stadia.
It would have to have that little circle, that the lines that pulse off when
Yeah,
he's screaming.
100%. 100%. I want more MM2K in my life.
There we go. Let's see. So this isn't really features, but Mailstar is saying Witcher 3 and Monster Hunter World. Okay, so are there any games that currently exist on other platforms outside of the ones that everybody's always asking about, like Fortnite and Rocket League and stuff like that? Are there any games out there that you're like, okay, this needs to come to Stadia?
I've said it on I think
Okay,
three
I'm going to
different
stop you.
podcasts.
He can't say Skyrim. Something else. Something different.
No.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't going to be Skyrim. I've said it on like 3 different podcasts or 4 different podcasts. We need Minecraft on Google Stadia. That is one of the biggest games for younger crowd, a lot of streamers, a lot of stuff. If we had Minecraft on Stadia, and you could just buy it quickly and jump in and play it, and access all your mods through the what is it, Minecraft Marketplace, would be insane for getting the younger crowd to get motivated and want to get in on Stadia. Plus, a bunch of these players already have Chromebooks because they're using it for school.
Yeah.
So this would be the perfect Trojan horse to get in and get a bunch of new people playing on Stadia.
Now, I am not I'm not a guy who really knows much about like hardware and stuff like that. I don't care. I don't care about hardware all that much. Is Stadia more limited on their CPU or on their GPU?
I don't think we really know because we can't see. You can't actually run any debugging code on the actual blades themselves to see. I would think that for most games right now, we're probably hitting more CPU limiting than GPU limiting, just because developers need to figure out how all of the code runs on the blades themselves. If I had to guess, I obviously don't know, but I would think that it's more of a CPU limit that's impacting devs, which would be why when Avengers first launched, when you're playing in the high graphic fidelity mode, it would slow down to a crawl in certain sections. But the graphics looked great, so it was more of, to me, a CPU limit or a RAM limit thing than a GPU.
Okay. The reason I was asking is because I know that Minecraft is a very CPU heavy game, a GPU light game. And so I was like, oh, it would look really good, but I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, Minecraft, huge game. Yes, bring it to Stadia.
It'd be fantastic. How about you?
And give you one more place to buy it.
Yeah, I own it on everything, so might as well get another.
What were you
one.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, what one game would Bill want? What would make Bill's life complete if it launched on Stadia?
I hate to say this because I know it's not going to happen, but World of Warcraft. No, you know what? As much as I love World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, I think that's much more likely. Final Fantasy 14 is such a fantastic game, and to be able to play it in that room, downstairs on the TV, right here in this room, on my iPad, would be amazing. And I would play it like square, Make it happen. Make it happen, Square. Yoshi P, I'm begging you. Give me Final Fantasy 14. I've already bought the game. I bought it twice for PC, one for me, one for my son. Twice for PS4, one for me, one for my son. And I will buy it 2 more times if you just do
Nice.
it. All right. We have to stop and we have to thank Paul Connor, Gem Stadia, and SofaSpy for their super chats. Paul Connor says, "Good job. Hello from France." Gem Stadia says, "Crash Bandicoot." Of course, he says that every time. SofaSpy said, "During the GDC talk, they gave an example of playing NBA 2K with your favorite streamer. I wonder if we will have the ability to play Stadia within YouTube, or will we be forced to open a new tab and game on Stadia.com?" That's a really cool idea. I'm guessing that you're going to have to play on Stadia.com. But
Yeah.
if you're this is the thing where that picture-in-picture would be really cool, is if you're playing the game, or if you're watching a streamer, and you click on that link for crowd play, and then it's your turn. When it's your turn, it would be awesome if that stream was then put into the window so that you could still watch the stream that you're playing with. That would be awesome.
When they showed off the UI for PlayStation 5 and they had the little option where you could take those cards and dock them on the side, I'm like, oh my God, I need that on Stadia. I need to have the ability to have my game full screen, but then I want to watch this one YouTube video, and then it slides down a little bit, gets a little bit smaller, and then I have a second stream going. And that could be even handled 100% server side, and it could just be a different video frame that they're sending to me. Instead of being a full screen video frame, it's now a smaller one with another video stream coming. So it's not even going to tax browsers to get 2 1080p or 2 4K streams coming to you. It could be completely handled server side. And to me, like, that's just another thought that just kind of blows my mind about what Stadia can be that a traditional console can't. Like, they can completely change the way the UI looks. They can send you different data. We've already seen that with what is it? Stream Connect, where you can be playing a game, and next thing you know, you're seeing everybody else's screen on your screen. You can't do that on any other console without kind of doing it half as good as Stadia can. But yeah, the ability to have your stream with another YouTube video or a YouTube music playlist kind of running in the background and showing that in your UI, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah, I think that would be very, very cool. We only have about 3 minutes left, so we're going to have to wrap up. Everybody who sent in their ideas to the tweets that I sent out yesterday, thank you very much. Maybe I'll make a video out of these out of these and post it later on this week. So you guys can keep replying. If you want to find that tweet, I'm at Run Jump Stomp on Twitter. Lloyd is at Dasme. That's DASME. But that's going to have to be it for our show today. We have to thank Sounds of Stadia again, because they started the show off. They were playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and then they sent their audience over here. And there's a link in the description below if you missed their stream, so make sure that you check that out. All part of Stadia Super Saturday. And Andy Morphs is going to be picking up right where we left off, or leave off, in like 2 minutes. And again, there's a link in the description down below on the YouTube channel, so you can check out his stream. So you can click on that link. It'll take you over to Andy Morphs. Last thoughts before we get out of here, Lloyd?
No, it's just been a wonderful year. Google, thanks for bringing out my favorite console. I love this platform. Stadia is the place I want to play. I appreciate everybody that works on the service and the platform and all the engineering behind it, especially since we just went through, or we're still going through, a global pandemic, and there's still iterating on features and bringing out amazing games that can let us forget about reality for a little bit. So thanks to everybody at Stadia, and thanks to everybody that's been hanging out with us for a year plus here on stream. It's ridiculous that we get a couple hundred of you every weekend, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
Absolutely. It was an amazing year one, and here's to an even better year two. All
Cheers.
Right. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. My wife brought me this coffee in the middle of the show. So she's awesome. Go watch Andy Morphs right now. Bye, everyone.
Links pasting.